So, as mentioned, that I'm working in cyber law sector since 16 plus years and handling a lot of cyber crime matters from across country, working on national and international law. But I found few things which need to be noted for everyone. And that is why security is important for all of us. You know, we always think about external security, but most of the time, as being a digital citizen of the country, we missing some internal security, and that's why this is the very big potential for the cyber criminals across the country. And that's why the biggest frauds are happening around us. So, do you have a knowledge about that Iran has launched one malicious new malware, which is known as a shaman, which is similar like ransom. And a lot of people, those who have a knowledge about it, they feel very scary how they will tackle all these new viruses, which is not identified yet by few firewall vendors. But yeah, there are some alerts from the governments as well as from all the countries where they are establishing cyber security. So cyber security is not an optional subject. There is no option for us to selecting cyber security as an option. Yes, it's mandatory. And if we do follow all the basic controls of cyber security, if we able to implement, if we able to comply all those, then we will be secure. But how we can secure ourselves? Only technically or legally? So first of all, I would like to give you some idea and some important aspect of security is mandatory. Yes, but along with this security, we also need to have a knowledge about, with this security, I also need to have legal protection. And that legal protections come under the cyber law. So what are the specifications mentioned in a law? I am not going to tell you law at all. I just wanted to give you some insights and give you some important sections which are applies to everyone's life. Though you are a banker, though you are a service provider of the banker, though you belongs to IT department, though you belongs to banking department, you need to know, as being a digital citizen of the country, you also need to have a knowledge about why security is important, how we can take it ahead, and how we can be legally protect ourselves, protect our hard-earned money, protect our customers' hard-earned money, and protect our services from the issues. So in regard, I would like to give you some insight that a lot of frauds are happening around us. A lot of matters are happening around us, and we are reporting a lot of frauds. And now a lot of news come up with insight about watch out cyber cases in banks are increasing tremendously. And for this, I found that a lot of banks also feel scary about it. How to tackle this cyber risk? How to handle this cyber risk? And how do I get legal protections? So here with this presentation, I would like to give you the solution how we can take it ahead cyber security along with legal protection. So yeah, we have seen that a lot of cases are happening, and I would like to start one with video which can talk about our security. Can you increase the volume, please?
Hackers used malware to gain access to the banks and steal the money. Chris Duggett is managing director for the cybersecurity firm that released the report, Kaspersky Lab North America. He joins us from Boston. Chris, good morning.
Good morning.
I know you've described this as more Ocean's 11 than Bonnie and Clyde. How are they carrying this out?
Yeah, well, it's really interesting. At the outset, the initial break into the bank was really a classic hacking attack. But once the cyber criminals got into the bank's network, they really switched to tactics which were more like something out of a spy novel. They used espionage techniques that we've never seen used before on this scale, and a very, very interesting new form of attack.
What are they doing with the money? Where's it going?
Well, they're transferring the money out of the victim banks and institutions into accounts of their own in some cases, and then cashing out from there through a variety of different methods. And in some cases, they're actually taking the money out of the bank itself that they attacked, out of fraudulent accounts they set up for themselves.
How many banks are we talking about?
We're talking about dozens of banks, certainly. We think the number could go up to 100 different financial institutions around the world.
Chris, you're talking about up to $1 billion, which just seems remarkable. Most of the money is going to accounts in China and the U.S., but you're not even sure at this point where these hackers are actually based?
Well, we have some ideas about where they're based, but, you know, attribution, as we call it, is always very difficult because it's easy for hackers to make it appear like they're in one place or they're one person when they're actually somewhere else. So tracking them down is always a challenge in any hacking attack. In this case, we believe the attackers are based in Russia, China, and a few other European countries.
So you're not naming the banks while the investigation is underway. So what should bank customers, any bank customer, be doing?
Sure. Well, I think it's unfortunately something we're all getting used to, which is you should be looking at your monthly statements from your bank and your credit cards and making sure that not only the balance is correct on it, but that the transactions that are listed are legitimate transactions.
All right, Chris Doggett, thank you very much.
Yeah, the video rightly said, and sometimes we feel scary while handling this kind of matter, but for your kind information, this is not happening in India only. It's happening around the world. A lot of banks becoming victim of cyber attacks, and they feel sometimes helpless. But there is a good information, there is a good news for all of you that there is no scary picture in front of us if we follow the basic controls. I would like to declare here that I have attended what the biggest fraud of the country, and we have solved that fraud. And we have also arrested few people and we recorded their statement. And I found their modus operandi of this kind of similar attacks. So whatever the frauds he is going to explain or trying to explain, that already I have attended in our country. And I found, am I audible? And I found that a lot of criminals also using the similar modus operandi while committing the cyber crimes. So let's figure out what are the modus operandi of hacker, what precautions we need to do it, and along with the security components, how we can have legal protections. So I would like to explain one case study. One a reputed bank of Nagpur became a victim of cyber attack because the network, the Wi-Fi attack has been used for one cyber criminal activity. And the Delhi police registered this case against the bank because their network is used by attacker to commit a crime. The Delhi police come to the bank to arrest the people of IT department, and they feel scary about it. But Delhi police cannot do the further things because this bank completed all the regulatory activity, but due to negligence part of their employee, they become a victim of this fraudulent activity. We have also solved this matter and we protected banks and the IT department of the bank because they followed all the basic controls of cyber security framework. So yes, though anything can happen with cyber attacks, but we can protect you because if we follow the basic controls and have the legal protection, then nobody can challenge us and we cannot become a victim of cyber attacks. So there are few things which I need to mention over here, that how we can take it ahead, how we can understand the attack flow. First, we have to understand vulnerability, exploit, and the payload, and the most important, infection and attacks. There are a lot of frauds happening, and while investigating this fraudulent activity, we found that we are losing in those attack flow areas. Our IT department and the people of IT department need to consider, need to get a training how to tackle this, because nobody has a knowledge when they'll be hacked. So this is the main part of it, and if I wanted to share you the modus